Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, people of royalty. How are we doing today? There's going to be a lot of changes from this point forward. Good morning to you all. I'm streaming for the first time from my new apartment. What's up? What's up? It's pretty barren, so apologies. I didn't really have much time to decorate for you guys. I might even do a decorating stream. We'll see what happens. This is going to be the new stream room, though. We're going to get it prettied up here in the future. But for now, I'm here to talk to you guys about my move. Hilariously, we'll talk about that in a sec. The future of PokeMMO, what's going on, shiny hunting, the future of my setup. I have a pretty exciting... I'm actually really excited because I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. There's probably a better way I can do it, but I'm going to try to do it either tomorrow or next Monday, a more simplified type of it. I've been wanting to shiny hunt on 2 accounts at once, legally, not against the rules. What I mean by that is on 2 different devices. So what I plan to do is get my laptop set up in some sort of way once we have my bigger desk actually put together. Because if I can do that, theoretically, if I could stream 15 hours a day, I mean, that's not going to happen, but theoretically, if I could stream 15 hours a day and shiny hunt on 2 accounts for 15 hours, that's going to be 1 shiny a day on average. And I love the idea of that. Just the possibility of that is phenomenal. Did you know there's no shiny Ponyard on the GTL, even alpha? It's hard to like accidentally stumble across a shiny Ponyard. Most people get shiny Ponyard because they're specifically trying to shiny hunt for it. And if you're specifically shiny hunting for it, then you're not usually going to go sell it, right? So most people, that's why there's not really any for sale. Shinies like that are specifically hunted for because they're loved, not because it's an accidental, oh, here's, you know, some extra Pokeyen for my storyline run. I hope the move was successful and easy. I normally wouldn't talk about my life in stream recaps. I try to keep stream recaps more specific to PokeMMO, but my move was pretty funny, is what I'll say. A lot of things that went wrong that could have went wrong, but also some things didn't go wrong, which was super nice. So, start off, we wake up, we head over to our new place. We couldn't get in for an extra hour. They were an hour late in preparing the apartment, unfortunately, for whatever reason. Sure, so we lose an hour there, not a big deal. We go from my fiance's place, we drive or from our new place as well, we drive all the way back to my old place, right? Which is an hour away. We drive all the way there. I'm an idiot. I forgot my keys. I didn't think about going from the new place directly back to my old place. I forgot my keys. So my poor angel fiance and her mom with her truck to help me move had to drive all the way back to her place an hour. So we drove 2 hours for no reason so far, drive a 3rd hour back to my place to then begin the move. So we're like 4 hours late at this point from the extra hour from the apartment place and my bonehead mistake. So we're exhausted from the sun. And then me and my fiance, we have to move all of my boxes. I think I can show this without doxing anything. We have to move... There's way more in the living room and stuff as well. All of this down 3 flights of stairs. I had to keep stopping because I had to wipe sweat from my brow because I couldn't see. Because I was sweating so much into my eyes that I couldn't see where I was walking, and I didn't want to fall down the stairs. So we had to move all my stuff down 3 flights of stairs, load it into her mom's truck and her car, and then we realized near the end of it we don't have enough space. We're gonna have to do 2 trips, so we end up having to do a 2nd trip the next day because we just couldn't handle it. We load up the 1st trip, we go home, we unload it all. Thankfully we have a garage in this apartment, and that saved our butts. I cannot explain to you enough. Being able to just unload the truck, take box, pick up box, put it in garage, like, that saved our butts versus having to take a whole nother trip upstairs or whatever, right? That saved us. So that happened, and then thankfully nothing. I don't know if anything broke in the move. I haven't had the time or energy to go through my boxes. Honestly, I haven't like unboxed anything, so I don't know yet. Hopefully not. Nothing fell off the truck. That was a huge positive. We come back from that trip, we try to set up the internet, and I have, out of like the 5 moves I've done in my life, I have never once in my entire life been able to get internet day 1 of a move. It just never happens. Something goes wrong. I hate Xfinity, right? Typical stuff. You know my stream. Doesn't work. I'm trying to set up a modem that I own, a Motorola modem. We have to end up calling them. We're on the phone for like 3 or 4 hours trying to get this modem set up. They can't figure it out. They tell us we have to go to a local Xfinity store. So the next day, which was yesterday, we go back to my place in Maryland and we do the final move there. And then on the way back to Virginia, we hit up an Xfinity store. And then they tell us, number one, this modem isn't compatible, which makes no sense because I literally just used that modem at the previous location. So it makes no sense that all of a sudden it's no longer compatible. Number two, we now have to rent a modem from them, which I hate doing that. I like to avoid it if possible. Number three, they tell us that modems are region locked by state, which I've never heard of in my entire life. So they say that we have to go to an Xfinity store in Virginia specifically to then go get, which is like 30 minutes out of the way, to then go get that modem to hold. So we end up getting internet by like night 2 or whatever. But we worked so hard and we tried to plan so preemptively to get internet day 1. Never happens. It never happens. I've never heard of region lock, and usually region lock refers to like US, Japan, European, like it's like usually like an international region lock. A state region lock for modems is something I've never heard of. That's so insane to me. Anyways, all of that happens. We get internet set up. Me and Casey are like, oh dude, let's go relax. We earned a treat, right? Let's head to McDonald's and let's go get the new Grandma McFlurry. We go get our Grandma McFlurries. We get hit in the drive-thru. We get rear-ended. Like, it's unbelievable the amount of like my move, and that's just life. Sometimes it happens. When it rains, it pours. Holy shit! Like everything that went wrong could have to some extent. So we get rear-ended in the drive-thru. She was super sweet, super nice, like super apologetic. Thankfully, damage was pretty minimal / like pretty much no damage, which was unbelievable considering how much we got like jerked forward. They exchanged numbers, and I think that's most everything. We had to move a bunch of boxes. I probably lost I burned so many calories. I ate so much Domino's pizza. I think that covers everything in my move in that 6-minute rant for the most part. Casey ended up on the way to the McFlurry. Her parking, you need like a parking badge to like not get towed in the apartment complex, and it started raining, so that got washed away because she put it on she was gonna move it. She put it on the outside just for like a second so she didn't get towed one night. She was gonna put it on the inside the next day. It's like, dude, that like it was, so she had to like go get a new parking permit. There was so many things that went wrong. However, I'm here. Nothing fell off the truck in the move. I've had that happen before. Thankfully, that didn't happen. All my things are in a location. We have AC, we have running water, we have electricity, internet now. I think we're good. I'm excited to stream. I'm excited to make more PokeMMO projects. Feel free to, I'm going to timestamp this. Feel free to skip this or whatever throughout the stream recap, because I don't normally, it's not stream recaps, and my content aren't really about me. It's about PokeMMO, first things first. And then I'm sort of me and my personality sort of leak through a little bit sometimes, but thanks for listening if you listen to this whole thing. Oh, by the way, I mean, from this point forward, face cam will pretty much be a must. Face cam will pretty much always be the play moving forward, so hopefully Shiny Reactions should be a little more exciting. 12,000 encounters, by the way. There we go. How many hours do you have played in PokeMMO? Around 8,000 nowadays. 7,700-ish on the main account, and then a few hundred across alts. I'm pushing that 8K mark, which honestly, in my opinion, in my opinion, from starting the game so long ago, playing in 2013, 8,000 hours, not that impressive in my opinion. There's a lot of people, a lot of World of Warcraft players, a lot of RuneScape players that have a lot more hours than that starting at a similar time frame. Or even myself with RuneScape, I was so obsessed with RuneScape that I played around 20,000 hours of RuneScape in 4.5 years when I jumped into it. So I honestly spend more of my time. I just spilled my PewDiePie G Fuel. All right, Brofist moment. Am I right? Yeah, good one. That is so, that's so true, chat. As I was saying, yeah, with RuneScape, like I was literally so sucked into RuneScape. I played, I think it was average of like 9.5 or like 12, somewhere between like 9 to 12 hours a day for 4.5 years. Fantastic game, but unironically, content creation gets in the way of me playing PokeMMO as much as I probably would, but I kind of like that. It's like I mix it up. It's a new way to enjoy PokeMMO. I always tell people to test out content creation if you're getting bored with the game. Someone requested a price check. This looks pretty... Oh, I was thinking it was defenses, actually. So, got 31 speed Axew. Is this your OT? It is your OT. I obviously would never recommend selling an OT Pokemon, but if you're flexing a shiny, congratulations. I'm happy for you. Let's go ahead and see. Honestly, how I would price check this is probably just look up shiny Axew, because some people might be willing to just buy this outright as an Axew. Some people want that Pokemon. But we're not going to see anything. So what I would do, let's do egg group. Is it monster, actually? Monster dragon. So we're going to do both. The way that I would price check is I would do 31 speed, male. We're going to do 25 plus in the HP and attack. Not worry about the special attacks. It's not honestly that good here. Get rid of the Axew typing. That's way too high, obviously, as it's a, you know, 3 times 31. Lower these to 20. 5 mil is quite comparable. The 5 mil or so for this carp. Let's switch over to monster. Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy 5 mil sale, in my opinion. The Dragonite group is very desired. I think that's pretty easy. I would undercut that, was it that Magikarp? I would go 5 mil on that for sure. Best way to shiny hunt shelter / cloister. I believe it's a single encounter fishing hunt, which sucks. I really want shelter. I really want shelter one of these days, but it's fishing shunts are just so hard to stick to and to dedicate yourself to, because they're slower than single encounters biking back and forth. They're slower, they're annoying. You have to repop lures manually after each lure wears off. Fishing, I'd be open to like a small fishing buff, honestly, because it's really hard for me to bring myself to do a fishing shunt over single encounters or over eggs, or like I'd rather just do, if I'm gonna do something rare, I'd rather do singles or I'd rather do eggs. There's not really a reason to go do fishing unless you really want a specific shiny. And even though I really want a specific shiny, there's so many shinies that I want that I'm like, I'd just rather go do something else, you know? Does Dono status time keep running down while logged off? Yes, Dono status runs down while logged off. Shiny Charm does not. One of the downsides of a big move is that I kind of burned like 2 or 3 days of my Dono status, but that's just life. It's gonna happen. It's still definitely worth to pop big 30 days, especially when, like, you know, you shiny hunt. Like, I shiny hunt around 3 hours a day, which isn't anything amazing. There's way more shunners that do way more, but that consistency with Dono status ends up making it worth it for sure. What would a shiny Charmander with terrible IVs go for? It kind of depends on the market and how many are on the market. Generally, egg shinies go for around half the price it would take to make them on average. So on average, it takes around 120 mil to make like a rare or an egg shiny. So generally, I would say around 60 mil. However, shiny Charizard is such a fan favorite and in such high demand. It wouldn't surprise me if they go for like 100 mil. Yeah, like I was gonna say, this one's like 100, 110. That seems a little high. This is really high, actually. I wouldn't recommend buying this ever. I feel like Charizard probably anywhere from 60 to 100 mil, which is a huge range. Clue would have a lot more knowledge about this than me. Clue says around 90 to 110. That makes sense. Those more desired ones, they end up just sticking around that 100 mil mark. But you're never gonna make a profit unless you get super lucky on an egg hunt. You're never gonna make a profit. It's always gonna be like a loss on average. What was your method on shunting Cranidos? It was eggs for most of it, but I did end up slowly doing some fossils towards the end of it. It's funny because I ended up getting my Cranidos from a fossil, which is actually better because you do get a guaranteed 1 times 31 from a fossil, but not from an egg. Unless you're obviously breeding up IVs, but I think I ended up doing around 32,420 encounters in total. I think around 10 to 12,000 of those were fossils, and the other like 20k or whatever were eggs. Fossil hunts like that, there's pros and cons to both of them, right? So with fossils, one of the biggest negatives of fossils is you have to slowly stock up on them. Like even if I spent a bunch of Pokeyen, like all of my Pokeyen, there's a maximum of what? Maybe like 1,000 or less skull fossils. There's less than 1,000 skull fossils on the market. So even if I blew all my Pokeyen, that's only 3 hours of Cranidos hunting, right? Only 3, because you pop like 300 or 400 fossils an hour. So even if I blew everything, it's only 3 hours of hunting. And then after that, no, not even that, you have to go sort all of your boxes, sell off all those Cranidos, release a bunch of Cranidos, all that, store Cranidos, whatever, right? All that stuff. However, the biggest benefit from fossils versus eggs, and it's why fossils are probably a lot easy, not a lot easier, but like a little bit better / easier in my opinion, you don't have to hatch the eggs. The time it takes to hatch eggs every batch is ridiculous, right? So whenever you make, the reason why egg hunting takes so long is not because of the, I mean, part of it's getting Ditto boxes, but not really. Like Ditto boxes, making the eggs, all of that is whatever. The main time sink is hatching the eggs. Let's say you spend 1 hour getting, how many Ditto boxes do you need on average? 6 to 8. Let's say you spend 1 hour getting 6 to 8 Ditto boxes, right? That's a lot. It's pretty good. And let's say you spend 1 hour making the eggs, right? Pretty normal. You make like 360 to like 420 eggs or so, right? After that, after those 2 hours of doing that, now you have to spend 6 hours hatching all of those eggs. It takes so long, so long, it's ridiculous. Versus fossils may take like an hour or two to just like sort through and sell them all and release a bunch and whatever. So there's a lot of pros and cons to both. Fossil hunting is actually more expensive, hilariously, even though you do get some Pokeyen back. Fossil hunting is more expensive, but it's a little bit faster. It's hard no matter what you pick, really. Okay, so with the male Cranidos issue, if I were to catch my own Dittos, then it would not be a problem with breeding, right? The problem with catching your own Dittos for an egg hunt, right? And this is why like egg hunts are done a certain way. We've kind of like, we found the best way, guys. You're not going to reinvent the wheel, you know? The problem is if you catch your own Dittos, you're taking a 2-year hunt. Like an egg hunt, if you buy your own Dittos, is already like a 2-year hunt, right? If you take that, if you catch your own Dittos, you're turning a 2-year hunt into a 6 to 8 year hunt. And it's like, if you want to catch your own Dittos and do that, more power to you. Like obviously at that point you're doing it for like free / a lot less Pokeyen, but the time increase is disgusting. It's like it'd be like instead of going to the grocery store, I don't know what's a comparison. You go and like pay another gardener to go like pick their strawberries, and they charge like more by the pound than just the grocery store would, but they're like, this is a terrible analogy, but it's not worth it. It's really not worth catching this unless you enjoy it. Obviously, like at the end of the day, your personal enjoyment and your own fulfillment is what matters when you're playing your game. So if it makes you feel very satisfied to do that, fair enough, more power to you, but it's probably also better to acknowledge if I'm catching my own Dittos, I'm probably never going to get this egg shiny, or it's very unlikely that I will, and just sort of acknowledge that and move on. That's totally fine, you know? Okay, I do want to say thank you guys for putting up with the lack of content. I mean, only daily videos, no streams, Monday through Wednesday. What is this guy? Fake full-time content creator? More like barely trying, am I right? Thankfully, full-time streams will return next Monday, next week. I might even do some weekend streams because I'm just excited to stream. Like I miss you guys. I miss hanging out. I miss yapping. This is a yapping. I'm going to be yapping a lot because I couldn't yap for 3 days. Now it's all pent up yap energy, you know? So I might stream a bit this weekend. Normal stream schedule, Monday through Thursday, starting at 12 p.m. ET, will return next Monday, which is June 10th. So I'll catch you there for some good shiny luck. Honestly, this question brings up a good point. Someone said he just spent a bunch of money in PokeMMO and bought like 3 times perfect alpha evolution, some RP vouchers, 150 pumpkin bags, all this stuff. I'm a huge proponent of, and this is what I think my cash stack is too big right now. I'm a huge proponent of your Pokeyen and your money constantly doing stuff. If you just have a big Pokeyen stack, it looks cool. Like honestly, it would shock you how many people leave comments on my videos and my streams about my Pokeyen stack, when the reality is my net worth has always been around 400 to 600 mil. Like, I've always had a very decent net worth in the game. But people, your average viewer doesn't see that. They only see the Pokeyen stack. So it's one of those funny things, I guess, right? And it makes total sense. But I don't like having a high Pokeyen stat. Like, this is too high to me. I don't want this much Pokeyen. I'm probably going to spend a lot more of it, honestly, upcoming into investments, and always having your money doing more stuff is super, super important in my opinion. Now, if you're doing an egg hunt or you're doing something like, and you need a bunch of Pokeyen, obviously it makes sense. You need pure cash sometimes for like egg hunts, fossil hunts, rare hunts of any type, essentially. But until I think I'm on the ×5 train, and if I'm on the ×5 horde train, I need money for Leppas, but beyond that, I probably should be putting it into more investments. Does anybody know what this setting does? I actually don't know. Enable Discord rich presence? I actually don't know what this does in PokeMMO. Unstuck. You can just use unstuck through this? I didn't know that. That's actually really cool. I thought you had to like type /unstuck. That's you know, someone asked me to go through my settings, and now I'm just learning some cute little things. Discord will show you where you are in game. Gotcha. So it's like giving Discord the permission to show your in-game location. That's pretty cool. All right, one of our very own Neotrox just caught himself a juicy secret shiny Scraggy. Look at this. Secret shiny Scraggy, 3 × 31. I don't know the mathematical odds of a 3 × 31 secret shiny, but they've got to be insane. That, like, for those who don't know, the chance of a secret shiny alone is 1 out of 460k or 1 out of 480k, something like that. The odds of you getting a 3 × 31 would be the same as a 2 × 31. So you have 1 out of 31 guaranteed. So that ends up being 1 out of 78. So that means that a secret shiny with 3 × 31 should appear 1 out of 78 secret shinies. So I'm terrible at math. I don't know if this is how you would calculate this, so please don't take this as 100% for sure the odds. But I think the way you would do this, wouldn't you do 480,000 times 78? I'm not good at math, so I might be totally off base, but is this a 1 out of 37 million chance for this to happen? It's literally the same IVs as yours. Yeah, that's crazy. This is like unbelievably rare. Oh, it's 50-50 because it's either secret or it's not. I forgot, chat. That's true. Okay, good call, chat. My bad. I'm gonna close the math. We won't even attempt the math. That's a good call. That's amazing, dude. Congratulations. All right, we've got what I think might be a pretty crazy shiny clip / reaction. Go ahead and pause this really quick. This is from Wild Grizzly Bear. Secret shiny Feebas at 88,000 encounters. I haven't pre-watched this, so I don't know what the reaction is going to be like, but that is insane. I don't know if these are his Feebases or he's just trying to do the thing where like you kind of like have it on screen to like remember what you're fighting for. I feel like that might be what it is. Let's go ahead and check it out.
You're not alone anymore.
I love naked shiny reaction.
Oh my fucking god!
Is.
Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god! Shiny Feebas! Oh my fucking god!
Oh, I love it, dude.
Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god!
For those who don't know, the reason why Feebas is so difficult, I'm sure a lot of you guys do know, but if you don't, Feebas is so difficult to shunt because it only spawns on one tile in like this big river, and it switches location like every 20 minutes. So you have to constantly re-find the Feebas tile. Which is really tough to do. Now, if you do find the Feebas tile, it's a 50-50 shot between Feebas and Carvana, so it's a really sick shunning spot, but it's so annoying. So it's every 45 minutes? Okay, I've heard different numbers. It is a pain in the ass to find the spot, but if you do, it's still fishing shunt, which sucks.
I told you, we could not.
Oh my fucking god!
We didn't even get to see the like secret logo, did we?
They had the Stroomish.
Wait.
I want to see the catch.
Sorry.
We don't even know it's secret yet, right? Because I don't think the animation showed the big sprite. It showed on screen. Oh, he missed it? I didn't. I missed it too.
Fucking go, man.
And I saw it in the title.
Let's fucking go.
I missed that it was secret. Let's see him react to that. It's secret.
I'm happy for you, bro.
Secret shiny, bro. Secret shiny, bro.
Oh, that's so sick.
Wait, what?
Secret.
Fuck, the guy on call with him is like, wait, what? He had no idea. Fuck, that's incredible. Congratulations to Wild Grizzly. That's so sick, dude. How rich do you think the richest PokeMMO players are in terms of living Shiny Dex? Like if they used all of their resources, how much do you think they'll complete? The barrier of entry for a Shiny Living Dex isn't the Pokeyen. It's the time. It takes like, we calculated at one point, it would take like 360 years of like 16 hours a day of play to get a Shiny Living Dex in PokeMMO. Time wise, and that's not even including the time it would take to make all the Pokeyen. Like it's not about, now if they're just buying the shinies, there's probably multiple rich people who could just buy one of every shiny in Pokemon. That's not that impressive or that interesting. Buying one of every shiny in Pokemon wouldn't be that crazy at all. It's just not that impressive, so nobody goes for it. Getting them all OT is what's really tough and interesting. I don't think buying would be that obviously, yeah, it's a lot of Pokeyen. I shouldn't say not that difficult, but like there's certain rich players that absolutely could buy all shinies. I would, if they're on the GTL. Yeah, in terms of time, it would take over 300 years to get a shiny. Because like you have to think about pretty much each egg hunt is going to be like 2,000 hours. So let's say a 4,000 year in a game is a really big year. A 4K year is what they call it in RuneScape, right? If you pull a 4K year, you're getting like 1 to 2 egg shinies a year. It's dude, and that's only eggs. That doesn't count any other shiny hunting on the side. Like it's tough, man. It just takes a really, really long time. There are so many egg shinies in PokeMMO. Yeah, I meant buying them. I didn't think there were players that were that rich. The thing is, like, you have to think about, there are vanities, there are one-off items in PokeMMO that cost 20 to 30 billion Pokeyen. Like, if someone has 2 or 3 of those vanities, which there are players who have that, all of a sudden you're at like 50 to 60 billion net worth players. It's, yes. Now these are like top 0.00000, like not even like top 10 players that have like stuff like that, but it does exist. There are players. It gets pretty crazy. Like the highest level of wealth in PokeMMO does get absolutely insane for sure. This is just from anecdotal experience, but I feel like we are having a like pretty big surge of new players. Now PokeMMO consistently always gets new players. Honestly, one of the biggest problems with PokeMMO, probably the biggest problem, is that we have pretty poor player retention. So this game gets tons of new players all the time, but not many of them stick around. Most of them complete all 5 storylines and then kind of move on and quit. And I get it's a very grindy game. It's not for everybody. I super get it, right? Sorry, I'm getting distracted by a chat. But it's interesting to see. I think a lot of people, a lot of veterans are taking their like post-event season break, and then we're also getting a bunch of like summertime new players. So it's interesting to observe. We're getting a lot of questions, such as how worth it is Mount Silver, and I've answered this question probably every stream recap for the past like 10 stream recaps. Mount Silver is so worth it. If you're new to the game, if you're thinking about completing Pokedex completion is super, super important. Mount Silver gives you the best XP training spot in the entire game, one of the best money-making methods with Red Refight, and the best shiny hunting spot for Larvitar, one of the coolest shinies in Pokemon, right? Also, it gives you a static Alpha Tyranitar encounter, which is also really, really good. It also gives you a bunch of really good EV training spots that are also really good for XP. Like, this one spot gives you one of the best XP in the game, some of the best Pokeyen, and one of the best shunting spots. Like that's all the 3. That's end game PokeMMO. Like you just nailed every single topic. There's no argument. Mount Silver is ridiculously good and ridiculously worth it. One of the biggest hurdles I see new players coming to PokeMMO with is they'll ask questions like, "Hey, how do I get an XP share?" Or how do I get a flame orb? Or how do I get a choice items, for example? And you gotta take, unless you're like specifically an Iron Man account or like a self-sufficient account, you know, fair enough, that's a cool challenge, but it's an MMO. Take advantage. Like as soon as you get 4 gym badges, you shouldn't be worrying about, oh, how do like, unless you like, it's cool to know, right? But like how trying to like get a choice item in the game or whatever, like you'd rather just make the 100K and go buy one. Like just use your Pokeyen, use your resources. Remember that the game is an MMO. Don't lock yourself behind to like being self-sufficient unless you want to, or it's like a self-sustainable account. Generally, people ask me like, oh, like how do choice items come into the game? And I have to answer with, oh, you buy them with BP from the BP shop. You can earn B, you know, and then it becomes this like chain of questions. Like, okay, well, how do you earn BP? Oh, you can earn BP through playing PvP, through the red refight, or through Elite Four reruns, or even through your first Elite Four wins. And then they're like, oh, well, that's kind of tough. And it's like, oh man, like that sucks. And it's like, no, wait, it doesn't suck. Just go make 100K within 30 minutes off fucking Pallet Town, straight fresh, right? And go buy one. You don't have to like do this complicated thing of like, it's like, because what happens is people come from like traditional Pokemon where you do have to go get items from like everything in the game. It's a multiplayer game, not single player. Keep that in mind. Abuse the GTL, abuse the market. Don't force yourself or get locked into that mentality of having to go get everything from the game itself, like how it comes into the game. How much Pokeyen should be earned each day to have a quote-unquote good account? This is all going to be super subjective, but it's a good question. I think I've actually answered this before. I think if you can make 600,000 Pokeyen a day, you're going to progress. That's a quite good account, and it's very, number one, it's very reasonable. Number two, I'll explain why in a sec. Number two, it's going to progress you very quickly, going to become a really cool account. I think 600K a day is a good thing to shoot for. You can make 600K a day via 5 minutes of shiny flipping. You can make 600K a day if you're a newer player within 3 hours or so of farming, making 200K an hour at certain spots. You can make 600K a day 1 hour from flipping, and maybe 1 to 2 hours of breeding for profit. There's tons of different things you can do. You could do one gym rerun and make 300K profit or more, and then do something else, or you could do a double gym rerun on like an alt account, something like that. You could do berry farming. Like I think 600K a day is very doable. Most players, you should be able to make 600K a day within 1 to 4 hours. It's very doable in my opinion. For like the average player, very, very doable. And I think it's a solid, sustainable amount, because like I could obviously sit here and say like, oh, you need to be making like 1 mil or 2 mil a day. But at that point, people burn out. It just becomes unrealistic to maintain. For some people, it's very easy to maintain that. But I think 600K is a perfect medium of like 1 to 4 hours, 1 to 3 hours, I think is a fair amount to expect of the average person. Obviously, there are people who can't play that much, which is totally fair. Just find an amount that works best for you and try to maybe shoot for that, you know? I'm a huge fan of like logging in for the day, doing like 1 hour of Pokeyen making, and then spending the rest of the day doing whatever I want to do in game, right? So let's say I log in, I spend 1 hour breeding for profit. Oh, I make like 500K, now I can go do whatever. I log in, I flip for 15 minutes. I make a bunch of money, I go shiny hunt for the rest of the day. I log in, I do my gym rerun for an hour. I go shiny hunt for the rest of the day. I made my Pokeyen, I'm good. Like that I like that style of play. You almost like your chores out of the way to some extent, but some people just like making Pokeyen, so it all depends on what kind of player you are. This is a food take that I've actually given before, and this is probably one of the foods that I give the most flack for, but it's just my opinion. Bob Bobson was critiquing my ordering of Domino's pizza for food for the move, and he said New York pizza over all others. I think New York pizza is trash, okay? It's just my opinion. The problem with New York pizza is that you take the most boring fucking ingredients. It's always just like cheese or pepperoni, very little crust. The crust has like a fucking burnt-ish flavor to it, which can be kind of nice, but can be kind of fucking dry and dog shit. You have a lot more opportunities for failure. The problem with like a boring New York pizza where it's just boring cheese and boring tomato sauce, the crust is the best part of New York pizza, right? I get that. The problem is there's no fucking flavor. I'm so sorry, but New York pizza is so... It's like the chicken nuggets of the pizza world. I'm looking for a Philly cheesesteak deep dish. I'm looking for a Chicago fucking style mustard and pickles on the pizza, cheeseburger pizza. I want some crazy, bombastic, bursting with flavor goodness, okay? I can't stand cheese, tomatoes, bread. Oh, that's dinner. Dude, just go get a fucking lean cuisine, or like what are those kid cuisine, that's what I'm thinking of, with like the blue dino nuggets or some shit. Like at that point, like you're just eating kids food. Like it's just, I'm sorry, this is a really hot take. Obviously this is my opinion, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying New York stuff like that. I have so many friends that would physically beat me up for giving this take. I'm not joking. I think New York pizza is trash. Yeah. What's wrong with chicken nuggets? Chicken nuggets are fine. Dino nuggets are fine. But I would never sit here and be like, oh my God, like you're eating Korean style fried chicken wings with Louisiana seasoning, fucking delicious, crisp, incredible chicken wings. Why don't you just eat Dino nuggets? And it's like I would never do that, you know? Like New York pizza is just too simple, too basic. I'm not a fan of it. I want some crazy flavors. I want some fucking bursting with joy stuff when I eat some beautiful food, and pizza is incredible. And pizza is, in my opinion, largely decided on the toppings and on the quality of the toppings. The problem with the cheese, I always say, if you took gold encrusted cheese and tomato sauce from a small batch tomato vine that only grew on top of Mount Everest because it was so unbelievably hardy, and then you took bread crust and dough made from a field of wheat that was sprinkled with like silver and platinum and like the highest quality of dumb ingredients, right? It would still lose out to the shittiest quality barbecue chicken pizza. Like, if you take the highest quality cheese pizza, loses to every other any topping pizza. And I feel like New York pizza is almost always just cheese or like pepperoni or like basic flavors. Very hot take, very smoldering. Feel free to say don't say I'm dumb. No, I was pretty harsh. You could say I'm dumb for this take. Fuck it. I was harsh to the New York pizza fans. You can say I'm a big dumb in the comments for that take. Definitely just my food opinion. Very new to the game, I'm at gym badge number 5, looking for information. Is there PvE after the storyline? I'm playing solo, and I'm wondering if there's matchmaking systems to beat legendaries like in Pokemon Go, like raids. It's perfect timing, dude. Permanent raids should be coming to PokeMMO in the next few months. So raids were actually a PVM/PvE activity that was tested recently in February during the Lunar New Year event. And they were tested and like rebalanced. They'll probably be permanently added and brought back to the game. I would guess in June or July. That's just a guess. We don't know for sure, obviously. I'm guessing raids will return in either June or July. Other than that, we do have Battle Frontier, Battle Tower. We have a Red Refight, which is a really good PVM challenge. We have gym reruns. We have Elite Four reruns. We do have other gym or like PVM challenges, but raids will be the one for sure once they're out. Absolutely. So we can all hold on to our chairs for now and wait until raids release, and we'll finally have that end game piece of PVM content we can all chase towards. I got a lot of messed up food takes today, guys. I'm so sorry. Apologies in advance. Come out Philly cheesesteak as a flavor because I'm eating some from Philly cheesesteak pizza. The best burrito I've ever had in my entire life is a Philly cheesesteak burrito. Sounds insane, and I recommend it enough. It's delicious. Why can't the PokeMMO developers input their own encounter counter, which baffles me? It's honestly, that is probably one of the more fair complaints. It's kind of surprising they haven't implemented their own encounter counter. There was actually a forum post, I forget how long ago this was. There was a forum post that was like, they were basically like, does the community even care? Do you guys even care about an encounter counter like being like inherently they're basically like, there's already mods. Do you guys really want like an official one implemented in the game? And the overwhelming community census was like, yes, please, so we don't have to run a third-party program, or so it can work on mobile, or so we can like log on different devices and the numbers carry over easily. Everybody was like, yes, we care. Oh my god, please give us an encounter counter with the game. A built-in encounter counter would be so freaking nice. That was one of the few times I like to praise the devs because they do a lot of great stuff, and it's hard being a dev. It's easy to critique all the little decisions they make, right? And generally they do a fantastic job. I do think that was one of the few times where I would call them a little out of touch on that topic specifically. An automatic encounter counter implemented into the game would be super, I think everybody like overwhelmingly wants it. Yeah, speaking of Pokeforce, I have been keeping up with Pokeforce and its updates and stuff like that. I'm gonna be super honest. They seem like they're doing a great job, but I haven't made a video on Pokeforce for a while because most of what they're doing isn't exciting stuff, but that's also okay. Like, good content doesn't have to be exciting. Like right now they're working on a lot of the main functions of the game, a lot of the skills. They're working on like a lot of the engine stuff. They're working on like, they had to like rewrite a bunch of it in like a new format or engine or some, I forget the word, right? Not a coder. They had to like switch, yeah, code type or whatever. They're doing a lot of like fundamental game building stuff. They're not really getting into like the balancing of skills or shiny rates or any like things super interesting. So like there's not really much to report on with Pokeforce. Having said that, I still do, even though they're doing a bunch of very basic fundamental stuff right now, I do still really like, they do upload dev vlogs like every month or every few months. They upload dev vlogs detailing what they've been working on and how that like future Pokemon MMO is coming along with Pokeforce. I'm really excited for it. They're promising a lot of big things and they seem to be delivering, but it's tough to tell until the game actually comes out. We will have to we're still they said they want to aim for a release late 2024. Maybe I'm pessimistic. I think I'm more optimistic, but maybe I'm being pessimistic here. I kind of don't think, based on what I've seen, I don't think they're going to be ready. I don't think a late 2024 release is going to happen, in my personal opinion. But I could be totally off on that. So I would love to see the Pokeforce devs prove me wrong. I would love that, right? That would be the sooner the better, as long as it's like a functional game. Hey Pat, question about raids. Do your Pokemon get level scaled up or down? They get scaled down, right? So if the raid requires level 80 Pokemon and you only have level 70, you do have to actually level them up before you can do that raid, right? Which it might be a pain in the butt. So keep in mind, you want to level your mons a lot before raids come out. And then if you have like level 100s or whatever, they'll scale down to 80, so you'll be fine. That's a great question. Oh shit, you guys are not wrong. People in my chat were saying, yeah, if you relog or log in, there is a new EULA. It's like, yeah, like a new basically thing to it. It's interesting. I don't know if anything's changed. Maybe I'll have to check the forums or something. Or maybe just like really making sure you select accept. But I'm pretty sure they had this before. They must have changed something, I feel like, to have this. A legally binding document. With agreements, comes with agreement, but not transferable. Amend the agreement. Acceptance, yada yada yada. Dude, I'm obviously just gonna click yes. I'm not gonna read it all, but that's interesting. Consent to monitor. This has always been the case. This is actually interesting because people always ask, oh, how does PokeMMO even know that you're botting and yada yada yada. They monitor a lot more than you would expect, and they're pretty. I actually want to talk about this. I remember this over my move over the weekend. Dude, there was one point where my PokeMMO password was leaked, and someone was trying to like get into my account and like hack me or whatever. And this was like when I had quit the game from 2016 to 2021. PokeMMO devs saw that, had enough information to know that it wasn't me, and they locked my account, and I was never hacked because of their monitoring, because of their like intense monitoring. I was never hacked, and they were able to like lock that person out and lock my account. And then when I came back to the game in like 2021 or whatever, I made a forum post being like, hey, what's it called? Hey, like there's this weird message that basically it's like locked or whatever. That's really cool. As basic security, there's a lot of things that don't lock people. I wouldn't call that basic security. I think it's getting more normal. RuneScape doesn't fucking have that. There's a lot of games that don't have a lockout feature like that. They will have like a email confirmation or things like that, but usually you can like get around those. In RuneScape, for example, you can like disable the pin. That is not Why'd you quit from 2021? I just had life got in the way. Was doing other things. There's no like crazy answer, interesting answer there. Let's read through this though. An unauthorized. This is important. Is people keep. I've heard a lot of people say they get like unrightfully banned. For unauthorized third-party program and have no idea, but usually they're just probably botting, right? Defined as any software not provided by us whose purpose is to facilitate the violation activities does violate this agreement. When running the game client may monitor your RAM processing or scan your device to detect unauthorized third-party programs. In the event the game client may communicate information back to the game server. Basically, all this is to check for botting. When running the game client may obtain certain information about your device, communicate it, just device, so your IP. This is pretty normal. This is very normal for any video game that you ever play. When you read through a lot of this stuff, it always sounds scary, but then you realize literally every single game ever made has this. Let's use someone without limitation personally. Services, any email for account creation, history of payments. We may, with or without notice, disclose the information we've collected from you. Limited under protocol, identifiable information requested by law enforcement. Okay. Game client may include diagnostic social logic. Okay. That's pretty much it. We may deploy our patches. We may presently the services. We acknowledge the okay. This is all pretty boring stuff. I don't think anything like massive has changed. But I might try to read through this more in detail off stream. It should be always posted on the. This is always posted on the website. You can always read this on the website and such. Okay. Bam. There we go. Back into the game. Back to shunting. Do you think legendary rates are kept secret so they can change the rates with supply and demand? With supply and demand, this is a great question. No, I don't think it's like a market thing. I do think that they probably keep the legendary rates secret so that they can like continue to find the right balance for them because they've only been in the game for like, I guess, almost a year. To be fair, it's been a long time. They probably should have an ironed out rate and hopefully release that rate to us at some point. I was hoping they'd have that at like 3 months, but they kind of never did that. So I would love to see them at one point iron out the best legendary rate and then like release it. I don't like that it's still secret. I think it's cool that the rate was secret for the first 1 to 3 months. Kind of been a while at this point. I don't think it's a supply and demand for like the market thing. I think it's more of like what's how many legendaries are being like, I guess, kind of brought into the game, like how often they found. Like it's more of like just a balance and a rate thing more than like a supply and demand thing, in my opinion. All right, Pimp Daddy of the stream, Oso, has said if we coin flip, heads equals 10 gifted subs, tails equals 5. The fact that you even give us gifted subs on a loss is crazy. Let's flip. Boom! We get the 10, baby. Always lucky in this stream. This is such a good question, and you kind of nailed exactly what's happening, Vlad Flood. Do you think that this trend with the market right now is temporary, or is it a rising tide due to the influx of new players who farm more than they spend? I assume you're talking about like the low cost of like good IV mons and like IVs are just like cheaper than ever, versus like 1x31s and 2x31s are like are pretty cheap, right? Can the devs make some way to absorb Pokemon from the market like they did with Shinies? I mean, the main thing is that breeding absorbs Pokemon from the market, especially good IV ones. Stuff like situations like this just happen. So right now, good IV mons are cheap. Like 1x31s are cheaper than ever. I always tell people this happens every year around this time for a couple reasons. This year it's even more extreme because everybody's taking it. Basically, it's event season. So much market stuff comes down to event season and event burnout. So like event season just ended in like February. Usually there's a burnout from like now until June, but people are also kind of taking an extra break because a lot of people don't want to come back to the game until raids drop. So they're kind of like playing other games until raids drop. And then once raids drop, everybody will come back to the game. And for raids, people are going to need a lot of good IV Pokemon, a ton of them. So like stocking up on good IV Pokemon, making those good IV Metagrosses, Unicluses, Murkrows, whatever's needed for raids is like going to be insanely profitable if you take care of that now. If you buy your XP charms now. Now is literally this is the case with like any market, right? Being active in a market during a down spiral is always better. You're always gonna make more money and like make better like payoffs, right, than being active in a high market, right? When you're active in a low market, you buy those Pokemon, you buy low, you sell high. It's really that simple, right? So keeping an eye on things during this time, it's the best time to make money is to be active during this quieter market, and then make those Pokemon, save them for now, and once raids come out, I do think the market will switch up dramatically. We've seen like during certain events like the Halloween event, I've literally seen like 2x31 modest Chandelures reach like 1 million Pokeyen, which is ridiculous during like the Halloween boss event, for example. Like things can get insane. I'm really excited to see how crazy, like the market's, this is a very temporary thing, and I'm really excited to see how much raids affect the market and how much Pokemon goes up in value. Someone said, but does anybody even buy at those crazy prices, like the 1 mil for the Chandelure? Yes. The reason why, especially with like the Halloween boss, is that people wanted the like specific vanity. Like there are specific vanities that you get from doing events, also making the Pokeyen. Like if you spend the 1 mil to get that Chandelure, you'll be making like 300,000, 500,000, sometimes 600,000 Pokeyen or more per hour just doing the boss. Plus you're stocking up on limited items like the goodie bags. Plus you may be getting like things like the Paladin's Shield, right? These are vanities. Like this was gotten in 2022. If you didn't beat the Pumpkin, you just didn't get this, and it's untradeable. So if everyone like a Zelda or like a Link cosplay, right? You kind of need this shield. A lot of people are willing to pay out a bunch of Pokeyen to be able to get those like untradeable or like limited time items and vanities. Absolutely, they sell during those times. There's a reason they reach those, but people aren't just like listing right like Chandelures for that price like because they can. Those are accurately priced things due to reflecting the like the severe demand during an event like that. Now, obviously, as the event goes on, in a situation like that where you have 1 million 2 times 31 Chandelures, people realize how good catching Litwick is for profit, so they actually stop doing the event and then go catch the Litwick, and then that lowers the price a bit. And by like the later half of the event or like the ender-ish of the event, like Chandelures go down in price because people don't need them as much. A lot of people have already completed it. People are selling off their Chandelures so they know they can make profit. People are catching the Litwicks for profit. Like it's very simple, like ebbs and flows of markets. It all makes sense and it all happens pretty much every time. Raids will be different because it's a permanent mechanic being added. Like raids will be super interesting. Think about how like for those who were around when alphas released, do you remember how expensive alpha spindos were and hidden ability spindos? I don't know if they're still expensive, but spindos were like 600,000 to 800,000 Pokeyen towards the beginning of alphas because they were so good at consistently catching alphas. Even now they're still worth like 100k. But these were so expensive, like 600k, 800k, stayed consistent around 300 to 400k for a long time because people need them. If there's 100,000 PokeMMO players that are logging in every day to catch an alpha, you need 100,000 hidden ability spindas. A lot of spinda. So stuff like that, there's just a lot of demand for big events and hype stuff like that. Yeah, I've actually got this question a ton today. What's like one of the best money making methods in Kanto if you're a new player? If you're a new player, I would probably go pop lures and catch Abras, Meowths, and Squirtles on that one route. Let me see. It's route 24. It's to the north of Cerulean City, I believe. Now, the reason this route is so good is, well, first things first, female Squirtles have a very good base price, if I'm not mistaken, of like 12k Pokeyen, of 12 to 15k. Males aren't nearly as much as, I probably wouldn't honestly, they're so difficult to catch, I probably wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't go for these, but female Squirtles have like a 12k base price. And then Meowths. If you get like a 31 attack IV Meowth, oh my god, are they that cheap right now? Well, no, they're not that bad. A 31 attack IV Meowth is like 10k. If you happen to get like a 31 attack IV Adamant Meowth, you're sitting at 30k for like a correct nature and a 1x1 IV. Obviously, if you understand breeding or flipping, you should always do that. Those are super good. If you happen to get a 2x1, like that's 100k. Let's get rid of the nature. 40k. Pretty standard for just one. So Abra as well. Abras are really required for synchronize. A lot of people need synchronized Abras for different natures. Let's say what's like the cheapest synchronize. Let's do advanced search has ability. Let's scroll down. Thankfully, you can search for things so much better now with this new GTL. But I would do like has ability. Yeah, if you literally just look up has ability, a synchronized adamant Abra, cheapest one, 27k. That is crazy. And there are other, even like, wow, Xatu, 12k. That's really high. The cheapest synchronized adamant one being 12k is crazy. What about like Modest or Jolly, stuff like that, right? Like, an Abra is really good because it has the speed. 6k for 6 to 10k for Modest. Jolly, you're looking at 4 to 10k. Timid at certain big natures. So literally just for any like shitty Abra, it could have no stats, but if it has synchronized ability and adamant, you're probably looking at 25k minimum because Abra has the speed those other mons don't have. So Abras, female Squirtles, and Meowths. I would catch those Pokemon at that location for really good profit. 200k plus Pokeyen per hour, easy in my opinion. Relicanth Swarm Kanto, I'll actually go check that swarm. That's a shiny Relicanth is gorgeous, super sick. Really annoying shunt, unfortunately. It's a super pain in the butt fishing shunt. Okay, Relicanth Swarm had no shiny for me. Shake my head, never lucky, so true. I might need to switch up locations. I think it's good to switch up geographical locations in-game for that little bit of a mental twist up. So I'm going to plan that for a quick sec. Okay, you got to give the people what they want, and the people are clamoring for shiny wide duck ass. So let's go check it out. I mean, see what he's up to, see if we can get a little, you know, blue duckerino today. Nah, not quite. I'm seeing a lot of questions about this. So daily reminder that in my opinion, shiny charm should never be popped, literally ever, off of donator status. Donator status is so much better than shiny charm. It's pretty ridiculous. Unless you just want to pop it for fun. Obviously, whatever you want to do for fun, just my opinion, right? But efficiency wise, it's just never ever worth. You should always have Dono before charm. Dono is so much more financially efficient. Charms are really expensive. Even if you only play for like 1 to 2, maybe 3 hours a day, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's a huge difference. So I'd really recommend getting Dono. You should never pop charm without donator stats. You should always pop on top of Dono. That's a daily little reminder. This is 14,000 encounters, by the way. Boom. Okay, someone in my chat asked me, they were like, hey, I'm doing a ×3 horde shunt, and I don't know if it's a spot that's worth using Leppas at, essentially. And I don't know the spot either, so I'm going to go ahead and go test it. It said that they're doing ×3 hordes of Vulpix at nighttime to the left of Violet, over at Route 36 in Johto, to the left of Violet City. So let's see. How long is this bike? How long is this bike? That's not, is this the spot? That's not bad at all. Dude, to be totally honest, I would not use Leppas here. That's now, I'm a pretty, you know, wealthy-ish player, right? I could use Leppas here because it's like, you know, save me some time or whatever. I think if you're a newer or beginner player and you want a shiny Vulpix and you want to do it without spending Leppas, I think this is a total, plus it's Growlithe, I assume it's 50-50 Growlithe, 50-50 Vulpix. This is a totally reasonable spot to do, in my opinion, without Leppas. We can time it really quick. Here, so I'm at 57 seconds here. I'm at 1 minute into the recording, exactly. So let me TP. I should have healed. I'll wait a sec. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, healed. Okay, I'm doing I'm pathing so poorly. It's around 20 seconds or so, it seems like. 17, 18, 19. That could have easily been done in 20. I was around 20 seconds. Yeah, I think this is honestly cool. I think 20 seconds, I think that's totally reasonable. I did my Trubbish hunt to the east of, is it Nimbasa City in Unova without Leppas. I think that's honestly totally worth it. Obviously, in terms of peak efficiency, like, you start to enter this territory of like, oh yeah, like, money should be 0 time because you should be playing like alt accounts to earn that. It gets a little silly. I think this is a super reasonable spot to do without Leppas. It's really, if you have a bunch of Pokeyen and you want to use Leppas here, I could see that. If you don't want to and want to do a cheaper spot without Leppas, Leppas are not cheap. It would probably cost you like, what, 5 mil Pokeyen in Leppas for one shiny at this spot, because it's like 3 mil in Leppas for one ×5 horde, but a ×3 is a bit more expensive. So it's like not cheap for Leppas per shunt, honestly. In my opinion, I would do this without Leppas. Hopefully that helps answer that question. That was a great question to ask. It was a great little thing to test, and I'm glad you asked it. However, I am gonna go ahead and call my stream here, guys. A nice little 4-hour stream or so, like 3.5, I think, to get back into it. It was nice to see you guys today. Thanks for joining me on my new apartment adventure. It'll be cool, hopefully, to see like this background sort of get set up and change and get more developed as the days go on, like as I actually build the background. So I'm curious to see what you guys want to see with the background. I'll be seeing you guys later. Like the stream and video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if not. Subscribe for daily videos on YouTube. I stream Monday through Thursday on Twitch at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below if you're interested in that. And if you want to go above and beyond and support this stream, if it's been entertaining enough for you or helpful enough, and you can afford it, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal/Venmo donations do help out a ton. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Good luck in your shiny hunts. Good luck in your Pokemon journey. I'll see you guys later, hopefully with raids coming soon. TM ? Peace, guys. Hey, thanks so much for watching the entire video all the way to the end. I really appreciate that, and I hope it was a positive asset to your day. And I also want to quickly say extra thank you to everybody whose name is on this list and goes above and beyond and allows me to do what I do. Thank you very much. Have a good one.